and frustrated about these insane policies. I think Labour even worse than the Tories on this one. But these policies are trotted out, well, we're going to hit net zero by 2050. Oh, let's bring it forward. And we're going to do that by cutting the amount of oil and gas that we produce. And we know what's going to happen as a result of that, don't we? We're going to have to import more from other countries. I mean, do these people, do they know what the left hand's doing, the right hand's doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was stunned when I saw this because I couldn't, there's no logic to it whatsoever. So the facts are we are going to need oil and gas out to 2050 and beyond. Fact. If you look at how much energy we imported last year, we spent £308 million a day importing energy. By stopping offshore oil and gas production, and also, as you said, the Conservative government have blocked fracking, so this isn't just a uniquely Labour issue. We're going to lock ourselves into reliance on more expensive, more carbon-intensive imports for decades. One comment in the Labour press release or report to media was they said, no, we understand we're going to have to import energy, but we've done the sums. I'd like to see the sums.
Yeah, I mean, they may have done the sums. Do those sums add up is another question entirely. And this is the really frustrating thing is that, there is nobody who is an expert in this field. I'll have people tweeting me saying, oh, I'd rather listen to the experts, Jill. I go, well, yeah, find me an expert in energy who doesn't know, not a question of believe or think, know that we are going to be relying on fossil fuels for another 80 years for large parts of energy consumption. When people talk about, oh, we do so much for our energy grid on renewables, yeah, what they're talking about is the electricity grid. That's 20% of our energy needs. The rest of it, we use for, fossil fuels. I mean, most people who claim to know about this stuff know, virtually nothing about this. This is really, really basic stuff. For instance, we're not all going to go and get heat pumps. A, they don't work. B, they're 4 times as expensive as your central heating to actually input. C, we don't actually have the space in most of our housing. Most people have gas central heating in our homes, which is a wonderful thing. People used to be freezing cold in their homes. Now I have gas central heating. We're going to need gas to continue. We're not going to be doing that with the sun shining in the North Sea and or wind blowing a few wind turbines. That's not going to work. But the crucial thing here also is we're going to be reliant on oil and gas. So here's the thing. Why don't we make sure that we use our own oil and gas, whether it's fracking, whether it's in the North Sea, and we make sure we do it as cleanly as possible, and we are more self-reliant, which will keep prices down as much as they can keep prices down when you're still basically subsidising and backing up renewable energy, which is intermittent and unreliable. But the idea that anybody who's serious about being in government thinks that you should end those North Sea oil and gas licences could be even getting close to power, frankly, terrifies me, Charles.
Yeah, it frightens me. Look, for the last 10 years, the Conservatives have flip-flopped on oil and gas policy constantly. So we're used to uncertainty for sure. But I think your sort of thesis or conclusion there is exactly correct. As you said, electricity, although Dale Vince on your show a few weeks ago said it was 35%, that's not true. Yep. You were correct. It was 20%.
I think you got involved at your Twitter point. He was saying to me, you were incorrect. I said it was 20%, and he said no. And he's like, no, I was quite correct on the facts. But they don't use facts. They don't use facts. We're told that renewable energy is really cheap. It's not cheap. It's more expensive. It has to be subsidised, and then we have to have the backup of either nuclear power stations, gas powered stations, to when they're not working. So we're basically paying double for the same energy.
Yeah, and look, if the Labour Party are going to say, no, we're not going to go for oil and gas, we're going to go for renewables, one, that totally ignores facts that we're going to need oil and gas. Yeah. It's not an either or. It's not black or white. We need a shade of grey here. One. Two, how are they going to deliver all of the wind and solar required? The Tony Blair Institute actually put out a very good report which showed that to meet our 2035 zero carbon electricity target alone, so just that 20%, we need to build the equivalent of the world's largest offshore wind farm in the UK every 10 weeks. At present, to build the world's largest offshore wind farm takes 7 to 12 years. So how are they going to do that?
I'm going out on a limb here, Charles. I'm not sure we're going to manage to do that.
I think you might be right too.
I mean, we can't build a block of flats, you know, in my local area in 7 to 12 years, for goodness sake. Can I ask you just